Alright, so this is what I'm calling the Mobula6-HD, and this is kind of an experimental build here. Obviously this is not a bind and fly product you can buy from Happy Mile. This is the Mobula 6 with the 19,000 kV motors, and I've modded it to include the Caddx baby turtle whoop, and it's sitting right on top of the flight controller, and then you got the Larva X canopy holding the camera in place here. This is extremely heavy. It goes from 20 grams to 30 grams in this configuration here. So you get a really short flight, even with the updated RPM firmware, and also I tried the JESC firmware. I'm only getting a maximum of about 2 minutes of flight at best, and it's very flies like garbage. It's it's got no power and no throttle resolution at all. It's just too heavy, and with 300 milliamp hour LiPo. And I even tried a 450 milliamp hour LiPo going this way, and it is even worse. You get less voltage sag on the 450, you get maybe like 30 seconds more flight time, but it is extremely hard to fly because it's just so heavy with that much weight. So this is more just, proof of concept type of build. Yeah, you can put this together, but it is not practical on these tiny 31mm props. Maybe on a different power setup it might work. I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, bigger motors in here. 1102s. I don't know. It's going to be tough to, on these tiny props, to get something functional with an HD camera or get something lighter on here. So I thought maybe it might work because we have an all-in-one board that carries VF4 lights, which has the built-in video transmitter and receiver. As you can see, I put the antennas out the side like this. But yeah, I didn't. I don't think this is I would not recommend you do this. And let me just show you how to put this together. It's it doesn't run off of the BEC on the flight controller, so the camera board draws too much power. So if you try to do that, it will just brown out on you. As soon as you throttle up, it'll the voltage sag will just cause the camera to reboot. So you need a step-up voltage regulator, and what I have here is a Pololu. And so the way I have this wired up is, you can see the red wire going here to the Pololu. That provides power to the Pololu. And then I have the black and red wires right here that goes out. Let's see, hold on a second here. Yeah, sorry, I got this backwards. So you got the red and black wires here for the 1S voltage coming in from the battery leads. This is soldered onto the battery lead. It's going here, and this steps up the voltage from whatever the 1S voltage is at the time. After takeoff, it's like 3 volts, and then it steps it up to 5 volts, and then that powers the camera. So this red line here goes to the camera. This is camera board here. I thought this was the flight controller, and the flight controller is actually underneath here. Let me pop this off and I'll show you how it's wired up underneath. So there's no power coming from the plug that the camera normally goes into. Okay, so this will show you a little bit better. So you can see the wires coming from the battery lead. I just soldered them there. Goes to the 5-volt regulator that steps up to 5 volts, powers the camera, and then from the camera you just have video and ground, and that goes to this wire that goes underneath over here, and then it plugs in right over there. So there's no power coming from that port over there. That's pretty much it. I mean, video transmitter is already on board, receivers already on board, so doing this little mod didn't really take too much time. I think it was probably about, I don't know, 15-20 minutes of work. I already had the Pololu, but as I said, it doesn't fly great at all. But if you want to, basically the smallest, lightest Cinewhoop possible, I think this is going to qualify, even though it barely qualifies as flyable. If you know of a smaller and lighter Cinewhoop that records 1080p video from a Caddx turtle, yeah, let me know. I want to see if I can get something in the 25 gram range. If you have something like that, do definitely let me know in the comments. But this is pretty much it for this one. I'm done with this little experiment, and I'm going to be moving on to other things. so you won't be seeing more videos until later. Maybe if something new develops, I can get this later. I might show you something else, but I'll show you a little bit of flight footage. It's not all that exciting, but yeah, it flies. It just doesn't fly that great. And yeah, I'll have this board in a